Hello and welcome to the Simplified Organization Show, 15-minute conversations about real moms managing life well and cheerfully, because our work in the home is the primary way that we serve God and fulfill our place in Christ's kingdom. We can be overwhelmed and replace perfectionism with baby steps so that we end the day with a smile and a realistic plan for tomorrow. Today, I'm sharing a conversation that I had with Sarah Nelson, one of our longtime member mentors inside Simply Convivial Continuing Education. Sarah has been married and living in California for 21 years. She has 2 daughters that she home educates with the help of a local Christian classical hybrid school. She's an excellent example of perseverance and changing her perspective and attitude about homemaking, which can sometimes feel discouraging, which is often repetitive. That repetitive nature of housekeeping does not need to be discouraging. So join me for this conversation with Sarah Nelson. Thank you so much for joining me today, Sarah.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
So you've been a member at Simply Convivial for a long time. Do you remember how long? I feel like you've just always been around.
Whenever that first email came out that said it was opening up, I was going to sign up for text messages because it always said if you sent text messages forever, I would be on that. And then when I got into it, I was like, ooh, there's more. And I'd done enough classes over the years that it was definitely appealing to have it all in one place.
So had you done Sweep and Smile as a class before membership opened?
Yes. I think I was probably in the first Sweep and Smile.
Okay.
Like it was like a Thanksgiving duration, I remember.
Yeah.
Somehow I always managed to travel in the middle of it, so that throws a monkey wrench into the plan.
A nice excuse. So like, oh, that's why it didn't work out.
And a chance to practice. We want it to be consistent, but it doesn't work out that way.
That's right. Yes. So that's kind of what we're going to talk about today, is being encouraged and satisfied in the work of homemaking, even when it turns out our end goal that we start out with is maybe misaligned. I think we often start a new program, something like Sweep and Smile, or just someone else's checklist, with this idea that once I get this in place, then we're going to be good to go. My house will stay clean. I'll be totally on top of it. And that being on top of everything all the time is what we think our outcome is going to be.
Yeah. It certainly doesn't work out that way. I've never been the person who can clean the bathrooms every Tuesday and forevermore they're clean, but somehow you have to keep trying again anyway.
Yeah. So what would you say to the mom who's really struggling with that struggle between, do I just need to be working harder, or is something wrong with the plan, when really it's just needing to adapt to life as it is?
Entropy is real. Change is real. The disorder keeps happening. People live here. They're all little things. These are the things I tell myself. Make something better, even when it's not perfect. And as I tell my children, look around. Just make something better, anything. But yes, I'm an instruction follower. I want to be told, do these things, and it'll all come out fine. But self-management is hard, especially for me. So I have to spend a lot of time just trying again and not scrapping it all and trying again, but being able to pick up just the small pieces. Okay, we're home. Is the counter clear? Okay, is the laundry started? Are the dishes happening? So these are the little things, and they make the biggest difference, even though they don't look like the movie montage where everything gets clean in one day.
That just you saying that reminds me, like, oh yeah, I was going to start the laundry in the dryer before we started here. I needed to move the laundry.
I did.
Very good.
Yes. We came home last night, so I sorted all of the laundry and have been trying to throughput it today, little by little.
So throughput it. I like that.
Yeah. It always needs to be. I tell myself laundry is a background process. So anytime you're going, what's next? Okay, start the laundry. That's in the background, except for the folding. So that's the one piece you have to find a focus time for. But the rest of it is all background.
That's true. And it does take a lot of that background time because, the machines have to run. You have to allow for that time.
And new machines get slower and slower. I don't know what's the deal. Why does the dishwasher take 3 hours? I don't know.
So what have you learned, or what has made the biggest difference for you in the multiple times through Sweep and Smile over the years?
A lot of the morning and evening routine are really useful, but also there's the reality factor of if your morning is already full of things, you can't add a 30-minute cleaning routine. You have to really believe in the 5-minute chunks and be willing to start and stop, because deciding, oh, by the way, I'll just unload the dishwasher and do all these things in the morning, but there's already tasks happening. You have to be realistic. Especially the evening too. It's so tempting to try and lump clean up after dinner into an evening routine, but that's not a 10-minute task. If that's the evening routine, that's all of it. That's not, and then I will, and then I will. That doesn't become one of 4 tasks. That's depending on, of course, your household and who else is helping. Yeah. So a lot of reality checks of I can't magically say, oh, I will do these things in the morning forevermore, and that will do it. Also, just I guess over the years, I've learned the idea that I don't have to do everything all at once. I can make it clean enough for now. I can walk away and I'll get to it again later, even if it's not perfect always. So giving myself a chance to accept that something is done, as opposed to always thinking it needs more. So those are the challenges. I'm still struggling with the start and stop, decluttering and stuff. It's like I want it to all be done. So it's hard to start and harder to stop. So then I don't start because I know I won't stop.
Yes,
so
exactly.
Believing in the timer is a challenge.
You guys have different morning routine needs too, right? Your schedule isn't reliable. No. And so sometimes I think we think that we need everything to happen at the same time every day for it to count as consistent. And maybe for some people that's possible and that would be nice, but that's not actually required. Yeah. So what have you learned as you adapted for a different kind of schedule?
Yeah, my kids go to class 2 days a week, and that's at 7:30, which is we are not morning people. This is all a challenge. And right now we're feeling the vacation jet lag. We didn't leave time zones, just not keeping the same schedule. So I guess I've just learned to chunk it into multiple days. The 2 days out of the house have to behave one way because we have to get up and make lunches and feed people and get out the door. And then I come back and do what I can around the house, which I'm still working on using that time to my best advantage. Because, again, all the things and all the distractions at the same time. And then the other days, while we're home, those are the days we have to hit the ground with the homeschool, because it's going to take all the hours, more hours than it should. But when you're part of a when you're part of a hybrid program, you have to do the work that's assigned to you. You can adjust, but you don't get to cut as much as you might. I can't do an elaborate cleaning on Tuesday because they have to have things done for class on Wednesday. And so it's hit the ground running. I don't know. Mornings are tricky. And of course, evenings you're tired. So it's an interesting thing, but I don't know. Somehow after dinner, we've gotten the dishes routine down. And in the morning, people make lunches as long as the counter is clear. The things happen. Trying to fit in things like sweeping and I don't know. It's not really an extra, but it gets treated as such. Everybody ignores the floor for Yeah, I think just thinking of it as 2 separate days and accepting that they're going to look different. And in some ways, it's 3 separate days. Each day just has its flow of what needs to happen. And there are the little things that happen. The counter in my bathroom always gets swiped. As long as no one's moved the rag, that is so habitual, I pick it up before I even think about it.
Right.
The bed gets made, the curtains get opened. Those are the little things that really seem small, but they make it more pleasant to live here, which is the point.
Right.
Yeah. Before we got into the schooling system and working through the homeschool time, I tended just to run away all the time from my house. Small children are portable. And we live in an area with parks and so many opportunities that we just spent all our days getting season passes to children's museums and running around. So I had to learn to clean my own house later. I missed a few years of doing that. So yeah, it's all been growth.
And part of Sweep and Smile is not just putting those routines into place that help us keep the counters clean or just a bathroom counter wiped down, but actually not getting discouraged in those daily tasks, actually recognizing the good work that even those small tasks are that we usually tend to overlook or look down on even. And then that doesn't help us get them done.
Yeah. You don't gain traction on things you think aren't worth it. So yes, looking around and going, oh, if I wipe the spots off the mirror with a rag, and then I can walk into the bathroom and the thing that reflects the most is clear. It makes a difference in your outlook. And having a made bed is worthwhile. Having the curtains open each day. Blackout curtains, you tend to live in a cave and you forget to open them. And these, again, the little things do make such a difference. And having the counter cleared at night, knowing that we're going to use it in the morning to make lunches, really changes everything. Even if there's dishes in the sink, if the workspace is accessible, it does make a large difference. An interesting side effect, actually a wonderful side effect, is that the more, I don't know if it's my attitude or my consistency has improved, the more my husband has just stepped up and done things. And maybe some of it has to do with his changing work. He works some from home now. Things have changed over the years, but he seems to comment a lot more on what I am doing and also to just step in and participate. So that has, I don't know, it just didn't happen before. We all ignored the house and left it. So we're all learning to live in it and deal with it. And like I say, the expectations make all the difference. So if I expected my table to be clear this morning after we arrived home last night, that would be a source of frustration. It'll get cleaned again.
So what kind of practices have worked the best for you for adjusting your expectations and attitude about housework?
Mostly remembering that it always changes. It'll always be done again. It's worthwhile work and it takes time. Someone was saying on a podcast, if we think it's a full-time job, then it's going to take full time. It's not always trying to minimize it to the point of I don't have to do it, but we live a full life and therefore we should expect to do it. A few years ago, I had the realization that if I don't do it, who will? Which could be negative, but I felt more positive. If it's worthwhile and I do it, then that's what I'm doing. That's why I'm here, to do this thing that I feel is worthwhile. Because frankly, some people in my house don't care, and that's okay. They wouldn't notice if I didn't do it, but I think it's worth it. So yeah, mostly just the discouragement and realizing whenever things change, daily, weekly, monthly, that you can just pick up one thing and begin again. You don't have to input an overarching cleaning scheme that will take you from now until the end of time. You could just go clean a counter and then see what's next. And again, which goes back to starting is hard. It's easier to plan and dream and think it through. So, yep.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we often want that plan that is going to last forever or that is going to be some kind of finish line. If I just accomplish this one thing, then it'll all be figured out. I will be somehow fundamentally different. But it's not that having the perfect plan in place is going to make us different. But still, it is true that actually doing the work and putting in the practice on those little things does change our attitude and approach on those little things. And it sounds like that's some of what you're describing here is continuing to do it and not give in to the negative self-talk while doing those little things, but actually changing that internal narrative has an effect.
Yes. Yeah, I decided early on, many years ago, that there would be no martyrs here. I've had family members who were the woe is me, I do so much. So I'm either going to do it and get over myself, or I'm going to not do it or ask for help or whatever. There's also, there's also the motivation of doing it because it's good work, as opposed to waiting for someone to notice. I am a bit of you go through school and everyone pats you on the back for doing your work. And so I'm expected to be patted on the back for doing my work. But that doesn't always happen in a household. And just learning to see it differently has been very worthwhile. There's the practical of finding the places and the ways to do things, which comes with practice and iterating over and over again. But then there's the emotional help of seeing it as worthwhile. When you don't grow up with someone tending a house, then you don't know, that it's important, but you don't feel it the same way. Trying to find a way to embrace the work and not avoid it. Naturally, we don't want a full-time job. We'd rather have a little bit more leisure, but it's still worthwhile.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Sarah. This has been a really encouraging conversation. And I think it's just good to remember that it is possible to get out of that negative thought pattern and actually find satisfaction in that work. And nothing has really changed about the work, but just in how we talk about it.
Yep. Yes, appreciating it does make it a little easier to do. All right. Thank you. Thank you for the courses. It's certainly been helpful to have the groundwork and jumping off point to adding new routines and new attitudes to my life.
That's funny at the beginning that you said it was the text message part that you were waiting for. I had forgotten about that.
They used to come with the courses, and then when the course would end, the text messages would end. I really just need someone, and that was before I had note cards all over my house. So, I needed someone to just tell me good things every day. Yes. Yeah. Living in your head with too many feelings can be a challenge.
Thank you, Sarah. And I look forward to seeing you on our future Zooms and all of that, and inside Convivial Circle. And thank you for being a part of the community.
Thank you.
Do you need to overcome unrealistic expectations for your home management system? Our 6-week program, Sweep and Smile, walks you through both setting up a minimum viable home routine and changing what your internal narrator has to say about housework. Improve your basic routines and change your attitude about those routines with Sweep and Smile. We start another live accountability group through the program on October 13th. So visit the link in the description to sign up now.